Joining me is John Roskam of the Institute of Public Affairs. John Roskam, great to see you. Look, the problem that these two gentlemen, both with legal background, have finally seen, I think, seems to be the one that we've been warning about for months, that this voice, a kind of Aboriginal Parliament, representing just 3% of Australians, is going to have too much power over the government of 100% of Australians. Have I read it right?
Andrew, we've been warning about this not for months but for years. And what Frank Brennan and Greg Craven are talking about are the consequences of what could happen if the referendum loses. I have a different view, which is that even if the referendum wins, on the current polling, it's likely to get no more than 55% support. In 1967, the referendum that I think helped unite Australia had a support of 90.77%. So for someone like me, even if the referendum succeeds, it will not unite the country. Frank Brennan and Greg Craven, I think, are indicating the truth, which is the Prime Minister should withdraw his proposal. Frank Brennan is right. The Prime Minister should exercise some humility. And if he really wants this, he should start building support for not a voice, but for something like recognition. He should stop playing political games, and he should stop trying to browbeat Australians into supporting something that they don't understand, which they've got no detail of, and which I think will destroy the goodwill of so many Australians to exactly the circumstances you talked about in your editorial, Andrew.
Well, John, I actually think you said if it wins, if it gets up, it's going to be very divisive, not least because these lawyers, I think we're absolutely right, it will turn out to be a poison pill. It's going to poison relations because it will stymie Parliament, because Parliament will be forced to wait with a decision, or not Parliament, the whole government under the current the way the wording is, the whole government cannot make a decision until it's heard from the voice. So that's going to be a disaster. And if it loses, people are going to say, you're racist, it's terrible, we've got to get more militant. Either way, this could turn to be the biggest disaster of race relations, I don't know since when.
Andrew, you are exactly right. And again, we have talked about this. For something as significant as this and as important to all Australians, whether they're black, white or any other colour, you would have a government not playing politics. You would have a government involving not just the opposition, but all of civil society in a process. What's happened is recognition has, in the hands of a small number of activist academic lawyers, turned into something much bigger. And Paul Kelly talked about this in the Australian today. And as he identified, not only is the proposal dangerous, but as we've talked about, it will enshrine racial division in our foundation document. And that will flow, that division, that difference will flow into every walk of society, because it's going to start in the Constitution and it's going to start in the Parliament. And that is not good for Australia.
Absolutely correct. Even Jacinda Ardern wasn't mad enough to try and put racism actually in the New Zealand Constitution. We're going even more radical than that. I think it could make you cry if either way, it's going to be disaster.